New Orleans Pelicans don't make the biggest mistake in franchise history. How else can I put this? You do not trade Zion Williamson right now. I can't share my thoughts right now before you go and F this all up for your franchise that you do not go and trade Zion Williamson right now. Okay, you've just tied him up for what, 6 years, I think, on your extension, on his rookie extension here. All right, yes, he's been injured. Yes, he's played, a handful of games only, and that totally sucks. Get it. We get it. Okay. But it would be a total freak out and panic mode right now if you went and put him on the block and traded him for anything less than the number one pick right now. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And the Spurs aren't giving up the number one pick. All right. So it's not going to happen. So you hold on to him. You do whatever you got to do. Yeah. You do whatever you have to do to try and get him back on the floor in some capacity. And you continue to be patient, but you do not trade him. So here's a real shout out here. Kendrick Perkins, you said you should trade Zion Williamson right now. That is the worst take I have ever heard. I don't know. What do you think, Nick? You were advocating for Zion to be traded too, I believe, as his GM. Is that correct?
You're a hard man to keep track of. All right. We've had a couple of recordings today, which will linger out, and maybe people can piece together what I'm talking about. But you like to hold on to interesting people, and you like to let interesting people go. I don't know if there's something deeper to this, but Zion Williamson has played about 116 games in the last 4 seasons
Yep,
and has had ongoing issues with his weight, has lower leg injuries,
absolutely.
and all of this is overlooked because that man is dominant and unique.
Yep.
And I get it, right? The ceiling for Zion Williamson is legitimately like a top 5 MVP, finals MVP player. I agree with you, right? And when we talked about the Orlando Magic, no, I don't think anyone in the Orlando Magic has a better ceiling than Zion Williamson. That's not hard to fathom. But the problem is floor, right? The floor for Zion Williamson, he fell through it. He fell through it because he didn't manage his weight properly, and then he landed too hard on the ground, and he's fallen through the floor. He may like there are scenarios for him where he can never get healthy and never play again. And then there are scenarios for him where he figures it out and he goes on to lead them to an NBA championship. Both of those realities are very plausible. And I get it. You don't get those players often. How often can you actually say, I have a chance to win a championship, et cetera, et cetera? The problem with Zion Williamson is you have a good sample size now, right? We know an NBA career, if they're lucky, gets to about 10 years. He's already almost halfway through his NBA career if it's going to last the average amount of about 10 years.
Zion,
Yeah.
he's in
He's
year
he's
three.
in his
He's almost halfway
no,
through his
year
NBA
five.
career.
Year five. Year five. He's going into year five.
Zion's going to year
You
four.
this is the issue though, is that we're all confused about how much time he's played because he's never on the goddamn court.
He's
He's
also
not.
22 years old.
And he's played a lot of basketball. We talked about basketball mileage in these guys, right? We know that he had issues already in college and already in high school. Look, if you would like to run the franchise like this, because this links back to our New Orleans Pelicans video, you can hold on to Zion, right? And you take the gamble, right? Over the next 5, 10 years, however long it is, maybe something good happens for you. I agree, it could. I'm not even going to say that it couldn't. But if that's it, if that is your one window to win it, that's a very fragile window. And I subscribe to the philosophy of I would like to move off him while I still can get something because it just gets worse. If he doesn't play next season more than 30 games again, it's worse because it's another season he couldn't stay healthy. His value continues to diminish if he can't get on the court. If he gets on the court and kills it, then his value's back up. But these are all ifs, and it's a lot of ifs. And there are other players in the league that we don't talk about like this. Like Kevin Durant is the example I'm going to throw out here. Achilles injury, like constant little niggling injuries. But I still would be confident to say Kevin Durant has a better chance at winning an NBA championship next season than Zion Williamson does. And there's a 10-year age gap between those two players.
Well, KD is also on the Phoenix Suns, right? And last time I checked,
All right,
Phoenix
I'll pick
Suns
someone
also have
else. I
Devin
think
Booker.
LeBron James. I
Uh,
think LeBron James has a better chance of winning an NBA championship next season than Zion Williamson does, right? I think LeBron James has proven time and time
I
again that
I
even
think
when he has a bad injury
I
season,
has
it's
I
60
think
games.
I think you're taking some of my thoughts here a little bit out of context, okay? You've gone all the way to the ultimate result here of a championship ring, which is every player's sort of goal, every organization's sort of goal. Absolutely agree, okay? But right now, I am saying the challenge is Zion is a player that's often not healthy. Do you keep him or do you trade him? Yeah, that's currently the conversation. I'm saying you keep him because the pros significantly outweigh the cons. His ceiling is much more important than this floor that he's fallen through right now. Okay, you alluded to this, okay? And no one's going to disagree with you that yes, right now he's probably fallen through this floor. He's not hit his ceiling. He's not close to his ceiling yet, and so on and so forth. But that ceiling is the part that you have to look at in basketball talent. Okay, and you will do this for years to come, and it's always been done that way. That's why players drafted Greg Oden over KD because we're talking about ceilings. Okay, and if they don't hit their ceiling for whatever reason, injuries or ability or so on and so forth, that happens, and that's a part of sport that you sort of take that risk. But right now, if the Pelicans were genuinely listening to trade offers, okay, and were to shift Zion, which they've locked up now for 6 more years, like I said at the start, I think that would be one of the greatest mistakes in franchise history for the Pelicans.
It'll be the greatest mistake if he goes elsewhere and actually lives up to the potential that he has failed to live up to till this very point. And when we talk about the floor, it's not just the floor of like, oh, yeah, look, he didn't live up to the ceiling potential that was ridiculous. It's the fact that that floor cost you almost $200 million to have that floor. And when you have that floor in this new CBA that we're moving into, that means that your floor impacts the rest of the other team. And it's not like he can be on your roster and you can still be competitive and making playoff pushes and potentially competing for a championship. That means that you built around this hole in the floor, and all you're doing is trying to chuck a couple of rugs and carpets over the hole in the floor, hoping that people don't notice the fact that you actually don't have solid foundations. Are you getting the building metaphor? Tear it down, let it go. It's done.
This is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.